Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Lazy Saturdayz. Welcome to Lazy Saturdayz. Hi. Stop. I'm Netta. You're here on Why Jamaica Instagram page, and this is Lazy Saturdayz. So today, if you notice, I've started just a few minutes before 11, but we're going to start the full content at 11 exactly, so no one would miss anything. Big up Lola for joining, saying hi, waving in reality and waving on Instagram. Yeah, how is everybody? It's been a long time. I didn't do a live last week. I must say that, sometimes it's just really the vibe. I mean, I am prepared, I have content ready and everything. It's just a vibe. If sometimes I don't feel that well, or I just don't feel the vibe of, sitting in front of a camera and talking to people, then I won't do it. Obviously, you shouldn't force yourself when you're not feeling it. But yeah, I just feel like, you have to work with what your heart feels at the moment. So this Saturday, I'm really excited. I'm going to do a very interesting topic, which is Big Up Pretty Goddess. So we're going to do a content which is really interesting. It's actually about things that you can learn while using public transportation in Jamaica. By the way, who is ever here, just let me know that you can hear me properly because of the wind and stuff. I hope that the mic is okay. So, yeah, we're going to talk about today something really interesting, public transportation in Jamaica. Now, I don't know if some of you have experience in traveling with public transportation in Jamaica, but it's definitely different, I would say, and challenging, but really interesting and full of experience as well. So it's a rough ride, but it's a nice ride, So let's see what's the time. All right. Yeah, let me know how you guys are. Peace and love always, pretty goddess. Yes, big up yourself. Peace and love and more blessing and, more health to everybody. That is what we need right now in the world. And more positivity and more good news, We're waiting for some good news here in Jamaica as well. As you know, probably, just like in the rest of the world, the tourism industry has hit really, really hard. Yes, we are expecting a blooming when everything coming back to life, but it's still a struggle to many. And I've actually seen recent, people finally talking about criticizing, what the government have done through all of this time that Jamaica has been most of Jamaicans have been out of jobs because of the pandemic. I must say it's pretty ridiculous. If in other countries, government were able to provide and help, here in Jamaica, it was maybe a one time or something like that, a 10 grand, which is 10 grand is like nothing. Just one buy in the supermarket or two maximum. It's nothing. The help wasn't good enough, and a lot of people end up either finding different solutions of income or just struggling very bad. Even the people who are still employed, everything has been way slower than the regular. So yeah, the struggle is real. I mean, people are really facing harsh realities, and it's touching everybody. Even people that you assume to say, oh no, they're good, they have whatever, a business or a secure job, whatever, it's touching everybody, it's influencing everybody. So I'm just praying every day, literally I'm praying that things will get back to normal, because there is too much politics around it. To me, from my opinion, I believe in the COVID, yes, it exists, whatever, but I just think that there is too much politics around it, and it's been a year now. Everybody has their protocols in place, everybody can, literally can start working, but it's just too much politics that's stopping us from giving the permission to say, yes, you can start working, you cannot, whatever. So I'm just praying for everybody to get back to their normal life, and hopefully that this new age that will come after the COVID would be way better than what we had before. That people would come here, that tourists would come here and enjoy. And one of the reasons why I've started with this is to really give people more information about the island, and especially in this time where I noticed that a lot of international organization like the CDC, if I'm right, that's the name, are always giving like false information about what's really happening regarding to COVID in Jamaica, because it's been here, yes, and a lot of people have died from it and whatever. I'm not accurate about the numbers, but the numbers are not that high in most of the islands in the Caribbean, and for some reason it seems as they are all chasing people away from traveling to Jamaica, which is not anything new. It's just like in the if it was in the 80s or whatever, where there was more crime in Jamaica, there were crime that created from whatever. But yeah, I mean, they just find ways to tell lies about this country, and I hate it. I mean, I hate the fact that they just tell lies to everybody in the world, and they just don't tell them the reality. And the reality is that if you travel right now to Jamaica, even if you have to be in quarantine, I don't want to mess up too much of the camera, yeah, but look where I am. This is right next to my home, yeah. So even if you need to be in quarantine, you're in Jamaica. Like you can be in quarantine in an Airbnb on the water or wherever you feel like. I don't know. You can be in the bushes as well, whatever you prefer. But I mean, traveling to Jamaica right now couldn't be even way better than doing it when there are more tourists here, because you have the whole island to yourself. I mean, it's just like a shame that, especially in this time, they're not taking the opportunity to really say, come on, you guys can travel to the Caribbean or to Jamaica specifically. I'm going to say specifically about Jamaica, that's what I know. Because it's way more safer to like travel here than travel now to New York and stand in a Times Square with thousands of tourists. Here, at least you can be separated from others. You don't have to be too much in crowded areas. I mean, you literally can take your own space, your own corner, and be all by yourself if you want to, Yes, there are certain things that's not happening right now in Jamaica because of the pandemic, but the vibe is still here, obviously. Jamaica is Jamaica, nothing has changed here. The people are great, the nature is great, the attractions are great, everything is still happening. So if you are considering to travel to Jamaica, even if it means that you have to be under quarantine, just find a really cool spot and come to Jamaica. I know people that came here and spent all of the time that they were here, they spent it under quarantine and they still had fun. So, I mean, come on, like, just don't let the system fool you. No, but honestly, I don't like when, they're giving false information. But anyway, that was just kind of like a few minutes until we start with the real content of today. The real content of today is regarding to special experiences, including tips as well regarding to using public transportation in Jamaica. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever traveled in public transportation in Jamaica, but as I said, very unique. There are several different types of public transportation. Specifically today, I'm talking about like road taxis, buses, which are big coasters, and overall like taxis, but not charter taxis, not private taxis. So I'm talking about public transportation, okay? So obviously, if you go with a charter taxi, that's everything that I would say today probably won't apply for it, but it's still interesting and funny, things to just know about the whole culture here, and just to kind of understand better the reality of the people and the reality of Jamaicans here in Jamaica. Because I think that even if you're a tourist that's coming just for, just to enjoy the Caribbean and whatever, you still need to get a bit of a hint of what it is to actually live here and what is the history and the vibe of the people. So part of it is the day-to-day life that people have to live here, which are mainly good, but there is also a lot of things that I think that can improve, to make people's life better, to provide them more opportunities and more ability to really enjoy their life. Anyway, sometimes I talk too much, but I hope you guys get the point. All right, so these are several things that I have learned through using public transportation. Now, I have been driving, my own vehicle since almost 2 to 3 years now, I would say. But in the time that I was traveling in Jamaica, I definitely always use public transportation, especially when I drive from city to city or from city to country. It's very comfortable way. I mean, it's pretty fast. Most areas, most rural areas like countryside, you will have buses like the yellow big buses, but taxis and buses and route taxis would be the fastest way and the most efficient way to reach from place to place. By the way, if you checked on my feed, you will see that I posted a blog about specifically about different types of public transportation. It's on my website, my English and my Hebrew website. So you can definitely check it out. I made like a very easy, I think it's on my highlights as well, on tips, a very easy poster that shows you like how each type of public transportation type looks like and what are the cons and pros of each one of them, I guess. So yeah, if you need any like quick, guide, it's there on my highlights, Instagram highlights, and on my link on my bio, which you should check because I have lots of other links there as well. Okay, so as I said, yes, it is easier, I would say, well, faster to drive to use public transportation, sorry. It probably would be the easiest way as well, and the most entertaining one, because you get to see people and you get to see locals, and it's like fun to interact with new people. And I think one of the main reasons that people choose to travel abroad anywhere in the world is to get to know different people, cultures, and interact with other people, because we are only, as human beings, we're only able to learn from others when we meet other people and other cultures. So I think that, it's a good experience. Favorite town in Jamaica? Dr. Evil, who are you? You're Tommy Lee or what? It's okay. Yeah, Dr. Evil, my favorite town in Jamaica, of course, it's Kingston. Like, if I could do this and come back to Kingston right now, I would do that. But, reality, work, and whatever, but I'm sure I'm gonna be there. So big up everybody that's joining. So I'm gonna start right away, okay? So we were saying that yes, public transportation is more fitting to like rural areas, but public transportation drives around the whole island. So that is basically the most convenient way that you will be able to get to anywhere in the island, basically. And the drivers are very flexible, but you have to understand, big up yourself, Dr. Evil, but you have to understand that like it's public, so you have to, I will touch all of these points, but it's public, it's not separated or private, sorry, for you. So you have to sometimes compromise or whatever, be more patient, but these are just the topics that we're going to touch. So first thing that you would know and learn when you use public transportation in Jamaica is how to be able to take less space actually. So if you've been in taxi, that's the first thing that everybody would tell you after experiencing public transportation in Jamaica is that most of the time the drivers or the conductors, doctors will have to fit in more people into the vehicle. So in the end of the day, most of these taxi drivers and the buses drivers, this is their source of income. Their aim, as you might understand or you might not, yeah, small up yourself, I would reach to that in a second. So all of these people, basically, this is what their main earning is coming from. So their aim is to really have like as much as people as they can fit into the car, even if it means more than the seat amount in the car, and to make as many trips as they can. And remember that there are different routes, so some routes might take more than an hour, some routes are just a 20 minutes drive, but the aim of most of the drivers is really to make the best out of every day and to earn the most, because they are working for themselves, and their aim is just to bring more income to their families, of course, just like any one of us. So that results in a lot of situations where people are trying to, squeeze in more people than what is supposed to, the vehicle is supposed to contain or facilitate, sorry. And in a vehicle of like 5 passengers, you probably would see 4 people sitting in the back and then 2 more passengers sitting next to the taxi driver. Now you ask yourself, how? Before you come to Jamaica, you ask yourself, how does it work? No, like that was one of the first things that people used to tell me before I just came to Jamaica. You call your friends that been here before, whatever, get tips and stuff. And one of the things is like, I was saying, how, you're used to certain things, and then in reality, when you say it, it's like, oh, okay. But anyway, yes, so you definitely have to prepare yourself mentally to the fact that you're not going to have space. And when I'm talking about not having space, you're going to be squeezed. That is the reality. I mean, if you want to drive in a comfortable way where you sit and spread out your legs, take a charter taxi. Don't take public transportation, because the chances that you won't have to be squeezed is only if you travel on like very slow days, like Sundays or holidays. And you know, it's just most of the chances that you will still end up squeezing next to other people. But again, just understand where it's coming from. So as I said, the aim is to really facilitate or having as many passengers as they can. So when you are actually, you know, in the vehicle, you really don't have any other choice than adjust yourself and fit in. And I noticed that a lot of tourists sometimes, I mean, it's fine, of course. I mean, it's new to you. Maybe they are like coming into the taxi and they don't really understand how to fit in themselves. So the most funniest thing is when, you know, like locals will do it as well, I guess, but the most funniest part is like when you have to get up, like when you're at the back seat or something like that, back seat of like a 5-seater, and you have to get off to close the door, and then after you get up, you close the door, and after you close the door, you're like, okay, let's see if my ass can fit in here. Anyway, that's just a funny thing, but yeah, basically you have to small up yourself. Small up yourself is literally meaning make yourself, your space, smaller so you can all fit in that 3-seat. Why not? Let's fit 4 people. And if there is slim people, maybe it would be 5. So it really depending on, you know, your size and whatever. You have to understand as well. Oh, this is something that just came up to my mind, that drivers and conductors are on buses, on big coasters. They have a person that's basically arranging everybody's seat, taking the cash and like the payments from people, basically the person there on the ground, you know, and there is a driver in the front. So the conductor or the driver, they will basically identify you based on if you look slim, if you look tall, if you're fat, if you're this, if you're that. The reason why they do that is because they will sit you based on how you look and how much space you can take. And also based on where you're stopping, like depending if it's a long drive, they will make you sit, like if it's a long drive and you're coming all the way in the ending spot, the ending point, then you probably would end up sitting in the back, so you won't have to get it up every whoa, oh my god, wow, oh my, I don't know if you guys can see it, a huge pelican. What is it, a bird? I think it's called a pelican, yeah? Wow, okay. Alright, a while ago it looked like the bird is flying straight into me. If you were here, you would see it, I swear to God. But it just catch one fish in the sea. It's like those big birds, not a junk crow, pelican, something like that, I think they're called. I don't know the name. In Hebrew it's shachaf, I don't know what's the name in English. Anyway, that was scary, and it just fly out with the fish. Wow. Yeah, that's nature life in Jamaica. So I'm sitting here in a bar and a bird almost flying into my face, but huge bird, yeah, but anyway, yeah, pelican, say thanks. Oh, by the way, big up CGB El Adventure. I need to understand how to pronounce your name right, man. But he has a YouTube channel as well, sharing, you know, experiences, different locations in Jamaica. So big up yourself as well, and make sure you check his profile as well, his Instagram page and everything. So anyway, what I was saying, yeah, so the conductor, the doctor, they will kind of like look at you based on how you look, and then they would know where they're able to fit you in. If you're really slim, they would like try to fit you anywhere. Specifically if you're a female, they would try to fit you next to the rest is Spanish, okay. Yeah, so they would try to fit you like next to the driver, sometimes in the part where, you know, the like the space between the driver to the seat next to it turns into another seat. Like they just put a pillow over there, and they would have you sit in front, like either facing to the windscreen or facing to the people at the back. So anyway, this is one thing, you know, that people would like, definitely you would you will have to be adjusting yourself and try to take as less space as you can. And also, don't feel no way if you are, I don't know, really slim and they're trying to just understand that they're trying to fit in as many people as they can. And don't feel no way if they're judging you, not judging you, but categorizing you based on how you look. They're just trying to say, okay, how can I fix this and how can I make all of these people fit in so I can make money of all of these people, just like any type of business. So in the end of the day, that's the aim. The aim is to fit in as many, the mate is it. Well, I mean, I don't want to put it like, listen, tourists would always get more attention. Yeah, if you're a tourist in it's called the mate seat. Yeah, the front is, I know it's called the mate seat. It's just that I don't even think that like tourists need to know these things. Let me tell you why. Because I think that they would probably will, I don't know, feel more intimidated. Like in the end of the day, yes, it's called the mate seat, but whatever. I don't want to make people feel no way because whatever, where they're sitting in the vehicle. You can sit anywhere you want. You can also choose where you sit, but in most areas and most cases, the conductor and the driver will choose where you sit. But yeah, anyway, this is one of the things. So yeah, small up yourself and take less space to fit more people. All right, so next thing is to learn real patience. Now, if you ever drive with public transportation, as I said, it's public, okay? Every person coming to the taxi has its own schedule of the day, his own arrangement. Some of them know the driver personally and made them pick him up, but some of them have different errands or they're going to different places. So you just have to understand that there is the driver is trying to please everybody. The driver is trying to basically give service to everybody, specifically privately, but in the end of the day, it's public. So everybody have to be a bit more patient to understand each other needs, most of them, actually, not some of them. Most of the taxi drivers will not leave their departure point until their taxi or their vehicle, whatever, is completely full. So it might take time sometimes. It really depends on the time of the day. Like, for example, after working hours in the afternoon, taxis would fill up faster. On Sundays, taxis, you would see that there are barely taxis on the road. Sunday is really like a day off in Jamaica. There are still things open and business and stuff, but people really take that day to relax and just, keep their meds up, to just relax for one day at least. But yeah, I mean, it really depends which day you're taking taxi, but in most cases, you will have to sit down sometimes and wait for the taxi to fill. If it's a very popular route, like for example, I'm just thinking about buses, Kingston to Portland, very popular. They fill up in depending on where, but like other days of the week. Well, the country bus, you have to sit down and wait, but what I suggest and what I usually say to people, just make sure that you are prepared, prepare to sit down in a place. You don't want to be moving or putting your bag and leaving. Don't do that. You probably want to sit down with your bag and wait. If you can, try to choose the right one, like the right bus that has already enough people in it, so you won't have to wait too much. But also remember that it's really nice to bring a snack or so, but even if you don't bring a snack, just remember you always have hustlers and people that are selling through the windows, the vehicle windows, selling whatever snacks and drinks. So even if you cut up without no snack or you run into the bus or whatever, you can always get these things on the way. Oh, yeah. Well, Kingston to Westmoreland is another Pelican. Whoa, this is it's my lucky day. Kingston to Westmoreland is a huge drive as well, so I believe it takes way more longer to load. Kingston to Portland is about an hour, I think, an hour and a half maybe. So an hour and a half? No, I'm saying it wrong. Probably more. But anyway, it really depends which taxi you are taking and which day, but in most cases you will have to sit down and wait, so make sure that you have your snack and whatever. Also, make sure that
you don't necessarily believe, like a lot of taxi drivers, they would say one and ready, which means that one person, we only need one person to fit into the vehicle and then we're ready to drive. It's not necessarily true. Most of the time they use this just to market themselves, so they would be able to get more people and then fill up, load up and leave. But you have your aisles, so of course you can either choose to go with a taxi driver that's like inviting you, because as a tourist, especially as a tourist, I don't know how it is like with locals as well, I've seen it, but tourists it's even more present. When you go into a bus stop, when there is a lot of taxis and a lot of competitors, each one of them will try to like literally grab you and take you into their vehicle. So you really have to be like on top of yourself. Yeah, one and ready, two and drive. So, you know, it's like they will try to say those things to make you feel like, oh, we soon leave, but it don't necessarily mean like they're soon leaving. So if you see that somebody saying one and ready and his taxi is empty, don't go to that taxi, because you're going to end up sitting down there like for hours until it fills. And also it's always better to just come in to a taxi that already have people, because you can always make sure that that same taxi that you're going to the same direction that you're traveling. It can be a bit confusing. The locations where they're driving are usually on the door side. The driver's side is on the other side, in the front, or actually on both sides sometimes, I think. And but it still can be really confusing for people that don't really know Jamaica or the communities in Jamaica that way. So you really have to pay attention. And when you go inside a taxi, if you know where you're going or the name of, you know, the place, make sure that you ask at least somebody in the taxi from the passengers, not only the driver. Ask them, this like bus reach to whatever place you're going to. And then, you know, this is also an opportunity to start a conversation, which is great. And also you are making sure you're driving to the right place, because on the way in Jamaica you will see there are signs in Jamaica, but the signs are hidden, like really, really hidden. And from my experience in my first travels in Jamaica, it was really hard for me to understand where am I at and where am I located. The signs for like communities usually would be like you know, kind of like a stone, well, not stone, how you call it, concrete wall, like a small concrete wall that says welcome to this and this community. Not that many huge signs like we know from maybe big cities, you know, where you have a whole welcome to the, I mean, the only one, I think I said it last time, was in Montego Bay. I think even Kingston doesn't have like welcome to Kingston, you know, but maybe only in the airport. But yeah, it's really oh, India, you don't need any visa. Indians can come here, I think, for a period of 90 days. If you land in Jamaica, you get 90 days of travel. If you want to work in Jamaica, that's a completely different story. But overall, Indians nationality have good, you know, relationship with Jamaica. So you're welcome to come here and stay. Sorry, I have hair in my mouth. Stay here for 90 days without applying for any visa, so you get it upon arrival to Jamaica. What you have to make sure, well, I'm gonna touch it on a different episode, but several things that you have to make sure is always to make sure that you have enough funds to travel in Jamaica, because they will ask you, especially if you're tourist, and also where you have a place where you're going to stay on the first days in Jamaica, because they will ask you where you're going to stay and all of those things. Moving on to the topic, moving on back to the topic. So, and welcome from India, by the way. Big up yourself. Make sure you watch my YouTube and subscribe and do all of the good things, yeah? So we were saying, so learn patient. You really have to learn patient in Jamaica. Learn patient when using public transportation. You will sometimes have to sit literally in the car for at least half an hour until people would come and load up the vehicle. So bear that in mind. You always have to like take at least extra 30 minutes or up to an hour. If you have like a day where you have to be somewhere in a specific time, take an extra 30 minutes or at least an hour to make sure that you would actually going to be there on time, you know? Bear that in mind. And again, choosing the right, you know, choosing the right, how you call it, choosing the right bus or taxi is a really important and crucial, you know, crucial point, because you can definitely choose the wrong one and then sit down in a vehicle for so long and you're saying that it's not filling up or whatever. So it's kind of like
Oh, Jamaica forests, beaches, and environment. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so it's really important to just be able to choose the right taxi and don't necessarily follow taxi drivers or conductors that are literally pulling you into the vehicle just because they want to make that passenger come into their vehicle, you know? So just be, I think Adventurer said that, like, stand on your grounds and really speak up, don't be shy. Nobody can literally kidnap you, yeah? They're not going to do it, but you just tell them, no man, I'm alright, I'm good. Just tell them I'm good and then find your way, you know? You can go walk around and ask, don't feel intimidated. These people just want to make an income. They're not here to intimidate you or try to make you feel no way, just here to add another passenger to their vehicle. That's their only aim. So, and it's your right to always choose where you're traveling, just like anybody in the world, you know? So the next thing we're talking about is, of course, in Jamaica. If you've traveled in Jamaica, you know that the driving culture is a bit risky. Unfortunately, I mean, yeah, you know, unfortunately, there is a lot of things, okay? It's a combination of a lot of things. First of all, the infrastructure of the roads is very bad. There is so many roads that have potholes, which are huge holes in the middle of the roads, or cracks in the roads, or whatever, or places without no roads, where people have to drive on just dirt or whatever. And there is them in Jamaica. It's not on, like in cities. If you drive in cities, you will see it because it exists, the potholes. But if just as you go outside of the cities area, like outside of Kingston or Torrijos or Montego Bay, you will see how many infrastructure faults there are in the roads in Jamaica. And all of those things, of course, they add up to the huge reason why people are just trying to drive as best as they can, but in the end of the day, they have to be playing a computer game, running away from potholes. So, I mean, it adds up to the chances of riskiness when you're driving in Jamaica or using public transportation. So you always have to be super, super careful. You also have to bear in mind that if the driver don't say 100 to you, don't go on that taxi. You know, it's your judgment. You are the one to decide. You are the one to say, okay, this person look liable to drive with, I'll go with him. You don't have to jump on every opportunity that's coming to your way. And just make sure that whatever the person that you're driving with is really somebody that you feel secured. You don't want to be driving with somebody and every second, you know, to feel afraid. And understand that anyway, in any option that you will go to, putting yourself on the road in any country is putting yourself at risk, because, you know, car accident is probably the most common probably reason in the whole world for people to either injured or die from. So of course, driving in anywhere in the world can be dangerous, but specifically in Jamaica, I think it's a bit more risky because people like to speed up. There are no street lights almost, only in cities. So I don't know how they, you know, trust your gut feeling for sure. There are no street lights in a lot of places. Like if you go outside of cities, there is literally no street lights. If you're lucky enough and you're passing through maybe a scheme or a community that took care of their own little road or their own little that, yes, you're going to have street lights. But the reality is that if you're driving in the night in Jamaica, it can be really, really scary. Me personally, I wear glasses, so I barely drive in the night. Like, I am literally afraid because I know I won't be able to see nothing. So it's another fault of infrastructure in Jamaica that can adds up to the whole riskiness, you know, percentage. But yeah, driving here can be a bit risky, and you have to be aware of that. The roads are, you know, old sometimes and whatever. There are some roads that are new, but even the new ones, they don't build them properly. It's like, I don't know why, but they're not taken. You know, is the norm for drivers to be careless? Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to be saying that because it's not really everybody, you know. It's just that some drivers really are careless as people, but some drivers really just need to make that money. So, I mean, maybe I'm looking at it in a more naive way. I don't know. And bad drive people. Yeah, some people drive really, really slow in Jamaica, which I cannot understand. But the thing is, Jamaica is like the whole process of getting a driver's license can be sometimes not 100% on the right, like, legal way where it's supposed to be, and it can be just like you paid out and then you get your driver's license. So you will end up with having on the road a lot of people that probably don't know how to drive that good, or even know the signs, or stuff like that. So you have to be super, super careful anywhere you go in the world, but specifically what I'm talking about here, just to understand that you drive, even if you go with public transportation, just be aware. Everybody everybody buy them license. You see that? So this is a Jamaican telling you, yeah. So it's not necessarily learning to drive, it's literally buying it with money, and then anybody can have the access to be on the road and drive a car, and that's what results like lots of problems on the road. It's a very sad topic, actually. I mean, it's something that we got used to as people that's living or traveling on the island, but it's really sad because in the end of the day, car accident is the worst way. Like, I don't know, but anyway, I don't want to get into, that's the normal. We need to change norms. There are lots of norms in the world that we definitely need to change, and there are lots of people are able to, sorry, I don't want to get into that, but the government can fix certain things and they're not doing it. Sorry. Anyway, moving on. I don't want to be like, talking too much about one topic, but yeah. So taking a risk is definitely, going on a public transportation is definitely a risk in a way, because you don't really, as much as you want to choose the driver that you're driving with, you don't necessarily know who the person is. So you're always taking a risk and trusting somebody to drive you. And that's why a lot of tourists, I guess, rather to take charter taxis, but backpackers or even people that just want to know the cultures, they do go with public transportation. So it's definitely like something people still do, and that's why it's important to say that. So just bear that in mind and make sure that you are feeling secure wherever you are. I know it's probably something that you don't want to hear, but the reality is that in most of these taxis and buses, there are no seat belts. If you would find a seat belt, you're lucky, but in most of them, you don't really have a way to secure yourself in that way. So that's why I'm saying, make sure that you choose a person that you feel comfortable, a taxi that looks comfortable. Don't pick up an old-looking bus that might get stuck on the way, or I don't know what. These buses are already on the road for so long, so make sure that you choose a bus and a person, a driver that looks reliable. And just be ready to be driving fast, driving in narrow roads, driving on roads that have lots of potholes, squeezing in between people, just be ready to all of that. Especially right now with the COVID, just make sure that you have your mask and all of those things, and you're mentally ready to be squeeze around people for so long, because that's the reality. I know that they've tried to change it and whatever, and I see public transportation officers on the road, but I just don't think it would actually work, because if the reality in Jamaica was different, where taxi drivers wouldn't have to be so hungry for making money, and they might have I don't know, other opportunities, they would get paid better, I don't know, whatever, then it might have been able to have less passengers in a vehicle, and then work with the new COVID rules and whatever. But the reality is that everybody is just trying to make a living, and in Jamaica it's already so hard to make a living as a local. You just do everything, you just do everything to make a living. And that's why, you see a lot of different types of people that are trying to make a living in different ways. But in the end of the day, that's the reality. So you cannot ignore the fact that this is the reality. 3 click, big up yourself. 3C click. And make sure you're not afraid to talk when you stop reach. I'm gonna reach that. Listen, you and I need to do a live together, because you have all of my points, you have them already. So we're going on to the next point. So get ready, people, get ready to communicate with locals, okay? When you're driving in a bus, specifically coasters, you will have at least 30 people in the bus from any type of ages, any type of areas in Jamaica, any type of different lifestyle,
young people, old people, picnic, children, any type. Okay, so you have to make sure that you are ready to communicate, especially as a tourist. Come on, you're in a public transportation. Don't sit around with your earphones all day and like, wow, what a lovely ride. No, talk to people, and they would gladly talk to you back. You know, the reality is that you know, people drive for long hours, and yes, you can put your music, you can be on your phone all day and whatever, but in the end of the day, the unique thing about Jamaicans is that they still have this authenticity of just speaking and communicating with people. Like, it's not like in, I don't know, more Western countries where people just ignore each other. In Jamaica, you will get noticed really, really fast as a tourist in anywhere you go, specifically if you're in a bus. And you will find that people find you very interesting just by being somebody coming from another foreign country, and they would want to communicate with you. So take that opportunity. It's really, really fun. I think it's really interesting to get to know different cultures and speak to different people. Even looking and observing what's happening around you would give you so much knowledge about like the culture and the habits and the local reality of people here. So just something that I definitely recommend. Like, don't sit around. Yes, you can, you know, make sure you have your data on your phone and make sure you have what to do and maybe bring your book and whatever. But just also bear in mind that it's really nice to get to know people through these simple situation or experiences, you know? Jamaicans are especially friendly to foreigners. That's a fact, right? That's a fact. And all walks of life, we say. Oh, okay, that's nice. I never heard all walks of life. That's interesting. It's a nice term. So meaning like all walks of life probably means from any type of, like different type of people, I guess. That's my interpretation, maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, anyway, so if you're going to be anyway, if you're going to be squeezed around people in the next 30 minutes or an hour or even more, you would end up saying something to them, like even if it means, can give me a little bit more space, you know? So just be ready to communicate and don't be shy. People are really, really nice. Nobody's trying to like intimidate you or anything like that. People just want to be who they are, and here in Jamaica, most people are very friendly, and that's it. Next point, be ready to adjust to changes and to act when needed. So one of the things that will always happen in Jamaica is that, and I've said that, I did a whole episode about it, is that Jamaica is not a real place, okay? Only in Jamaica you will have things happening completely out of like what's supposed to happen in the reality. This is what's going to happen in Jamaica. Like all the crazy things you might have imagined that would ever happen in a country, that's what's happening here. It can be good, it can be bad, but in the end of the day, that's what keeps Jamaica unique as it is. It's full of action. There is always something happening, and it's always something crazy, unique, funny, entertaining. Like, that's Jamaica. So always be aware where you are in public transportation. Some people fall asleep. I specifically don't. But, you know, if you can, just keep yourself up to see what's happening. It's really interesting to see people interact between themselves, and also just saying what's the next crazy thing that can happen, you know? And of course, a lot of the times, like specifically with route taxis drivers would have to maybe change their ways or their route. They do have a set route, like where they're going. I told you it's set on the car vehicle door. But they might have sometimes to change the route a little bit because of, I don't know, bad weather, bad road, something happened on the road and it's blocked or whatever. So you have to just be aware that these things can happen and just be ready to adjust yourself. And always just, you know, like be flexible overall when you're traveling in Jamaica, because in Jamaica you can, the most beautiful thing is that you can wake up here in the morning with no plans, and then you step one step outside of your guest house or your Airbnb, and that's it. You have your whole day set up already because you met somebody that took you there and show you this and whatever. So just be open and flexible. This is Jamaica, you know? Of course, if you are, you know, well, of course, yeah. So you always have to, yeah, so, well, I said that as well, you know, just bear in mind that you take 30 minutes to an hour extra if you do have any plans or whatever. Yeah. Well, that's true. What do you mean? Route taxis don't have set routes? Well, that's true, yeah. Hanky taxis, but route taxis do have a route. So, but you can also differentiate them because the route taxis have these. As I said, I wrote a blog about it, so there are pictures and stuff, and it's hard to like describe it to people that don't know Jamaica. But on the side of the vehicle, you will have like a white and black pattern, and that's how the route taxis look. And there are lots of charter taxis. Make sure the most important thing that I don't know how I missed, I didn't say so far, always go with a red plate taxi. Every other color on their plate, like if it's green, no. White, no. Only red, okay? Blue, it's a different story. You won't see that many, but anyway, they are the only licensed one to be a taxi. Don't go with white plate taxis. White plate is private vehicles. Anyway, so tolerance is something that you will definitely learn through driving in experiencing public transportation in Jamaica. Of course, you will be around people that you don't necessarily know. Some of them might not be that pleasant sometimes. It happens, there are people at all types. Maybe, you won't find, like as a tourist, a lot of the times, and this is something that maybe people won't admit, you kind of want to like give the respect to the people, and you might don't want to say to a person, move a little bit or whatever, but just don't feel no way, because if a local won't have space enough, they will make you move, or they will literally move themselves, so you would have to squeeze in. So if you don't have space, make sure that you are saying what you have to say, and get in your own space in the area, and don't feel intimidated because, I don't know, an old woman next to you is trying to fit in her spot. It's not, both of you pay the same fee, so you both should have a fair space in the car, but just like be ready for the fact that you're going to meet people that are different from you. Taxis full of people that are coming from every type of, like, any area, any type of place, and some people might, I don't know, bring food that smell or smell themselves or whatever, and some people might be not that pleasant and they're sitting next to you, so you just have to be aware and ready to meet new people, and not everybody necessarily is going to be the match, so just be ready for that. And of course, everyone has different personalities, different days, some bad days, some good days, so just be ready for that, okay? I'm emphasizing it because of the proximity of being so close to each other for so long, which is important. You have to be feeling comfortable even when you're close to people like that. All right, one thing that El Adventuro was saying a lot is speak up. People in buses, when you have 30-40 people in a bus, you're going to have so much noise, you're going to have so many people talking, you're going to have the music, like the music is always there, yeah, of course, it's Jamaica, so even if you go to a taxi, a route taxi, whatever, music is there, radio, whatever, yeah. So just imagine so much crowdiness and so much noise, people talking and music and whatever. Be aware of that. It's not something that's going to make you not enjoy the drive or whatever. Just be aware of the fact that if you want to go and taxi drive or bus drive, you would have to be the person telling them when to stop. There are set stops, but smelly people, 3C clicks, smelly people, worst case scenario, or bad breath person. Well, at least we have the mask now, so that's the only advantage of the mask. So you have less breath smell coming to you. Anyway, you just have to go through that, yeah? If you get it on the first point, like when you're coming into the taxi and you sit down and you're like, this not feel good, this not feel good, then you can move, but yeah. Bye, Adventure. See you, and make sure you check out his YouTube and his Instagram as well, yeah? Anyway, so what are we talking about? Yeah, we're talking about not being shy, stand up and say what you have to say. Don't be shy in saying where you want to stop. Like if the as I said, drivers have set stop, but they can also stop at anywhere that you would tell them, as long as it's kind of on the way, on the route. So if you have somewhere to stop, make sure that you tell the conductor or you tell the driver. The way to say it is one stop, and you have to say it pretty loud, as I said, to overcome the rest of the noise that's going, the background noise that's going to be there. So yeah, nice. Google Maps helps a lot when it comes to getting your destination. Yeah, it helps a lot. But I mean, you know, I also, like, when I used to travel in Jamaica before, like, I moved here, I never used none of those things. I always used to ask people. I checked, like, where are the place located before I left, wherever, but I never used to use it when I was on the road, because I always think it's like a really, like, I have locals right next to me that knows exactly the location, know how to reach to anywhere, knows where are the, you know, communities and everything. And a lot of places in Jamaica are not sometimes on the map. So I mean, yes, you can use Google Maps. Of course, it would be helpful. And nowadays, probably after all of this development, things are a bit more accurate. But I think the best way is just communicate with locals and ask them, if it's not bothering nobody, right? But that's how you also get to different opportunities, to get to know people, to get people to show you different places that you maybe didn't plan to go to, but then they're saying, oh, but you didn't hear about this falls or this waterfalls or this, you know, hike or whatever. So I just think it's a really interacting way to do it. In like Western countries, like if you go in Israel, if you would ask somebody where to, like, directions or whatever, yes, they would tell you. But I feel like here in Jamaica, when you ask for directions or where to go, people are really like trying to help you, you know. They will literally take you there. They will do everything for you to find the spot that you're looking for. So I think it's something that is important to cherish and, you know, build and keep on maintaining in Jamaica, the fact that people are literally able to stop anywhere and ask, how do I reach there? How do I reach, you know? It doesn't exist in a lot of countries in the world because of all of the technology. So I think it's something that's good to keep, that people would feel safe to just talk to locals and ask them for direction. Anyway, but of course you use what you need to and what you want to, yeah? So you can use Google Maps and whatever, and again, it's kind of like touching the next point I was talking about, so it's knowing where you're going. So before you actually live on the road, if you're going from Kingston all the way to Westmoreland, for example, you have to check ahead. Is it few buses that I would have to change? Is it a route taxi and then a bus? Is it like, how much does it supposed to cost? All of those things. I mean, of course, you can ask them when you are there at the bus station, but I would always recommend to do that little bit of research before. Know where you're going. Make sure that you're traveling in the right time. Like if you're planning to travel for a ride that's going to take 3 hours and you're only leaving in the afternoon, I mean, you just have to consider it if you want to come to a destination in the night where you can barely recognize what's happening around you, or rather come there during the day, and then it would be way more easier for you to find wherever you're going to stay or wherever you're going to travel. So it's like, just be ready and prepared, and bear in mind that you always have to put like an hour extra for everything until the bus loads, until whatever, and just make the right preparation and, you know, live on time. Write yourself on a piece of paper what are the names and the location and where you have to change your taxis, or put it on your phone, whatever, if you don't drive with like internet and stuff. Just make sure you're ready and you really know where you're driving, because at least you show the person, like, even if you yourself, you're like, where am I? Oh my God. At least you show somebody, a local, this is where I need to go to, and they would be able to give you direction. Even if you yourself, you cannot pronounce the name of a place, they would be able to direct you. So it's always a good idea to just know where you're going, not just going on a bus and say, oh, okay, whatever, going to wherever that bus is going. No, make sure you know where you're going, especially when you need to change taxis. Another thing, very important, you have to notice what's happening around you and notice your things, your personal valuable things, your money, your purse, your everything. Of course, you're going to be squeezed next to people, so it's always recommended to not put your purse or anything valuable at your pocket. Also because it's going to be inconvenient to just get up every second and take it out of your pocket, yeah, but I mean, safety reasons, you're going to be squeezed between a lot of people and you don't want to be ending up like leaving the bus and then, oh, I don't have my phone on me or whatever. So just be aware, that you have your things on you at all times, and you know, make sure that even if you fall asleep in a public transportation, it's not risky or anything. Nobody's going to like thief anything from you like that. Just know that, you know, your bag is underneath your feet or whatever, like, you know where your things are, to just feel more secured mentally, I guess. But I've never heard about nobody that's, you know, that it happened to them, but I believe it can happen just like in any country, you know. There are people that do that, so you just have to be ready for that. So a very important tip, and it's one before the last one. Oh my god, that was fast. Anyway, so one very important tip that I've learned on my flesh, and I'm going to also share with you a very funny story, is that when I traveled on a public transportation, it was like, I think from Kingston to Negril, which is a hell of a ride. It's like at least 3-4 hours, or even more, changing buses, big drive. I traveled with my friend. Back in those days we were traveling here, so obviously I had like a mochila, which is a very big bag, heavy, because I like to carry extra things all of the time. And that was one of the worst things I've ever done. It's because as like a backpacker or whatever, I'm not necessarily a backpacker, but whatever, you know, as a person who's traveling in Jamaica, you're trying to, you know, be on a budget and not to expend too much, and you're like, no, I'm not going to be like, if you're coming with a big big bag to a bus, like a bus station, and you're taking it, and they will offer you, either you're going to pay for another seat or squeeze that bag somewhere underneath the seat. Now you have to understand the space underneath the seat and the space like to the floor is about this, and I'm not joking. So make sure whatever you're packing, you pack light. A lot of the guest houses, if you have like travel light, exactly. If you have like an opportunity in the guest house to like put your big bag, leave it there, and then you're going to come back after whatever, a week in Portland, you're going to come back to Kingston, then leave your bag if you can. Take only the things that you need for that short period of time, and travel with a very light bag, so you won't have to end up paying for another seat or squeezing all of your bag. Or, now I'm going to reach to my story, put it on your lap and losing all of your blood string flow in your legs, because that's what happened to me. Like it was terrible. And I think it was only from Kingston to Ochi. I drive and my bag was on my feet, and I was like, no, I can't survive this, you know. It's like, big up Markai, and I was like sitting, and the bag was literally on me. And I remember, I'm never going to forget it, I remember we stopped in Otorios in the bus stop over there, and me and my friend, we had to literally, like, I think, sit down as soon as we came out of the bus. The way our blood, like, we couldn't stand, like our legs, we couldn't stand the way our blood was like stopping, because the bag was so heavy and it was on our feet for so long, just because we insisted not to pay for another seat. And our bag didn't fit under the chairs. And usually there is like a small area in the back, which is mainly like facilitated by people's bags and whatever they're bringing in, you know, and most of the time it's full packed. So if you want to try to squeeze your bag there, it has to be still pretty small. So I'm not saying it's impossible to carry things with you, but let's say, for example, bringing a small trolley suitcase would be a good idea, because it fits perfect underneath one seat. Don't bring like bags, huge gigantic bags, because it's just going to be a struggle for you if you don't want to pay for an extra seat. And most of the drivers, as I told you, their aim is to make money, so they're not going to be, it's not a matter of negotiation of, no, this can fit. No, even if it can fit, they want to make that seat, you know. So if either you pay or you don't pay. If you don't pay, you put it on yourself, you put the bag on yourself, and you just deal with it, you know. So you just have to be ready for that, and as much as you can, travel light. Also, you know, keep your things, your necessity in like a small bag, where you don't every second have to reach back to your bag and then bend and all of this crowdiness and whatever. Make sure that you do that. And don't do the mistake that I've done just because of my pride, and I'm like, no, I don't want to pay for another seat. I just want my blood to stop in my fist. Anyway, yeah, that was my mistake, so I'm just sharing that. Now, people, we reach to the last point of the day. So the most beautiful thing is the ride in Jamaica. And I can't like stress this out more, like how people say it right now. I've been living here for how long right now, and every time I go on the road, even if it's just right out of my back gate, you know, it's amazing. Like everywhere you go in Jamaica, every ride that you will do, you will see the place, you will see the nature, you will see the communities, the people, you know, every little thing that you heard about, that's what you're going to see. Like, you know, you're going to see a donkey, you're going to see a sound system in the middle of nowhere, you're going to see a shop in nowhere, you're going to see somebody home, like craziness, yeah. But you know, a lot of like the structure in Jamaica, a lot of people live on hills or whatever, so there is people that like their house is so like located so deep, so you have to go like through these stairs, and it's like the height is amazing. On the side you probably sometimes would see huge rivers, lots of green, lots of nature, lots of like, you know, everything around you, the environment is going to literally blow you away. It's so beautiful and so pure, and just like, you know, just gives you a lot of good feelings. So most important thing when you're going on public transportation, open your eyes, observe, look around you, enjoy the way. There is so many things. Exactly, don't just think about reaching to your destination, but enjoy the journey. Exactly, you couldn't even say it better than me, right? You probably say it better than me. It's really important to just be able to enjoy every moment. And why I'm saying that, most of the people that travel to Jamaica, people who are really interested in the culture, they know that, okay, I'm doing it right now, but because maybe traveling, it's like traveling to Jamaica can be a little bit costly. So people, when they travel here, it's probably once a year, or if they love it, they do it more, but even once in a few years. So when you are here in Jamaica, just try to take every moment and get the most out of it. Look at what's happening around you. Look at this beautiful culture. Look at how much strength and power, you know, these people have. Their reality is different from you, for sure. And their habits, their lifestyle, everything is different. There is so much to learn, there is so much to see, there is so much to experience in this place, even if it's just a simple public transportation ride. So don't be stuck on your phone, look around you and enjoy the way, enjoy the whole way. So that's it, guys. I hope this was interesting. I actually really like the conversation we had today, and I hope that I will see more active people on my lives, because it was very nice kind of interact with you and get to know you a bit. And feel free to let me know what is interesting for you guys to hear about, you know, what other topics you would be interested to hear. And make sure that you go onto my YouTube and you subscribe. Like, if you really want to support me, you know, YouTube works that way. You really have to like subscribe to my channel, so I'll be able to really you know, see and feel your support, and then create more content and more interesting content. So yeah, just take your time, look at the videos, like what you like, comment on what you want to comment, but make sure that you subscribe so you would always have notifications. I'm releasing a video every week, releasing written blogs and also lives, and as you can see. Now what I'm going to do from now on, yes, much more to come, big up yourself. So what I'm going to do right now is just to let you know that I used to do these lives every week. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do it once in 2 weeks. So meaning next Saturday you're not going to see me here. I'm going to be live on Facebook, on my Facebook page, which is going to be lives only in Hebrew. So of course everybody is welcome, even if you don't know Hebrew. But again, I'm just going to be showing and showcasing around this beautiful island and the culture and everything that you wanted to know. So I'm going to do 1 week here on Instagram in English, and then the week after in Hebrew on Facebook. So make sure, and my Facebook link of course is on my bio, so make sure that you kind of go to you know, go to my link in my bio and follow me on Facebook as well, so you can maybe join the lives on Facebook. And yeah, I mean, I'm really happy to just share this information with you guys, and I do hope that it's useful for people that are planning to travel here, or even for just, you know, locals to see what we as foreigners see and experience Jamaica like. So that's it. have a great weekend and keep yourself safe. And I really appreciate the fact that you joined into this live. So have a great weekend again and stay blessed.